Welcome to Modern Adulting, your financial guide to the adulting simulation. The credit system is the fundamental game engine of this world. If you're going to become a top ranker or stop getting scrubbed in the early levels, you're going to have to learn about credit. So in this video, I want to go over more long-term credit strategies on how to maintain your score, and then go into ways that you can take advantage of having that good score. The most important thing, start working on getting those limits up. I mean your credit card limits. Now, they'll start you off something paltry, maybe a few $100s. But after showing that you can pay bills for maybe 6 months to a year, you're going to start wanting to ask for credit limit increases. That is super helpful because the most important factor in determining your credit score, aside from making on-time payments, is your credit utilization. If you have $100 in credit limit and you spend $50 of it, you're already at 50% of your utilization. Now, if you had $1,000 and you spend $50, that's like nothing, right? So you have much more of a leeway. Now you can realistically use a strategy like just using your card for everything, because you have that wiggle room. Generally, you want to stay below that 30% of your credit limit. I have a card that is about 30,000. And so now I can just put like new purchases. If I get like a laptop, I'll put it on there. And now that doesn't mean that I am just treating it like money. You never do that. You kind of play the game. So I'm always paying off all or most of my credit limit at the end of the month so I don't get in trouble, because the credit card interest rates, and we talked about that last video, are pretty high. I mean, even with my good credit score, I'm still around, my lowest credit card interest rate is around 11-12%. So yeah, you don't want to get that compounding on you year after year by racking up a lot of debt. So keeping it below 30%, if you want that super high score. Once you start getting higher credit limits, you can keep it under 10. Like mine's like at 2, but that's for a specific reason here. That is, along with having high credit limits, I have multiple credit cards. So the thing is that credit bureaus evaluate your score. They're going to not just evaluate where you're at on individual cards, but all of them pooled together. So what is card A, B, and C pulled all together? Say if you have 5,000 on A, 10,000 on B, and 20,000 on C, then they're all gonna be pulled together to 31,000 would be your total credit limit. And so when they're calculating your utilization, they're going to take it how much debt you have across all of those against your total credit availability on all of the cards that you have. So getting that up there just gives you so much wiggle room. And in the case of an emergency, you've heard of credit cards being used as an emergency. Now you do have a few $1,000s to kind of, offset some situation before it starts really hurting you. And Lord knows I've taken advantage of that in the past without hurting my credit score at all when I'm in between jobs or things get tight. If you have the right mindset about it, you can get out of those situations relatively unscathed. Now, this is for those advanced players, those ambitious players. A big part of getting that credit limit higher is to make more money. You got to make more money. The higher your yearly income is and your assets, etc., the more banks are going to be willing to give you higher limits. So if your income is not really growing, then there's probably going to be a ceiling as to how much a bank would be comfortable with lending you, even if you are really diligent in paying off your debt. Number 2, once the ball is rolling on your credit cards, you might want to start looking into other types of loans. So say you want to get a car. Now this one is a pitfall. You have to approach it very carefully, because this is one of the number one ways that people screw up their finances and credit. You really want to research the car that you're getting into so that you don't get saddled with a bunch of debt, and pay close attention to the kind of interest rates that you get. Personally, I really don't do anything above 5 to 6%. Even with, say, having no car loan history the first time I purchased a vehicle, I hunted around, I looked around. That's a major key when you're looking for loans, especially vehicle loans, that there's many options. There's many banks that are going to be willing to give you a deal, especially if you have good credit and you have been demonstrating responsible practices. And even more so if you're starting to get into those high 5 figures, low 6 to higher 6-figure incomes, you can get some sweet deals. So my first car, I found a really sweet deal. Digital Federal Credit Union, check them out. They generally have had a reputation for getting you some low interest rates on your car loans, and that's a credit union, major key. Credit unions are pretty good at that stuff. And I got like a 2.4%, which is that's like free money. It's crazy. So 2.4% on a loan that was, like 16,000. If you get more kinds of debt, that will increase your score a few points there, a significant amount, because it will show that you know how to manage other types of debt and you're responsible. You're not a kid. This last tip here is going to be more so if you have that steady income, you're making guap, and you're not worried too much about where your next paycheck is going to come from or your job security or whatever. Set things on autopilot. This is really good because one of the biggest things that hurt your credit score, or probably the biggest thing, is missing payments. I was like a college student, not even thinking about it. I got a JCPenney's card, bought some clothes, and forgot about it. I was doing hard major at the time, biochemistry, organic chemistry was on my mind, and it just slipped my mind. I had totally forgot. And come to find out later that, you missed the payment, you were late on this credit card. And that hurt. It's still hurting me to this day, because those late payments will stay on your history for 7 years. So that is why I would recommend, if you got that guap coming in, if you're getting paid, just put things on auto payment. So I found this app recently. It's called MaxRewards. MaxRewards is a dope app because you could set it up with all of your credit accounts, and it will not only let you know when your credit card is due for payment, when your credit card payments are coming up, but also it will let you know what is the best card to use when you're nearby. So you can see here I have the city card there, and it's letting me know that I get 2% off at Saks Fifth when I use this card. But it will let you know based on your personal cards what is the best one to use when you're near certain stores, etc. So that's super cool to maximize your rewards. All right, let's get into the fun part. That is going through what you can do once you get that good 750 and above, where you're just getting approved for everything. You got that decent income coming in. You just got things going on autopilot. I guess I could start off with the first thing would be getting great deals on cars. We just talked about that. Another reason is you look really good on your background checks. So jobs do this, and if you try to get an apartment, they'll probably do this, is they'll run a background check on you. And say you don't have a criminal history. If you do, that's that kind of sucks already. But if you don't have that, and the other thing that they'll look at is how well do you manage your money, and especially for things like you're going to be paying for, like a apartment or a house. So that background check is going to look really good when it says you have your credit history in check, and you'll be able to not get your application denied for a lot of awesome opportunities. The other one, which I really love, is travel like a boss. And credit card traveling, that means using your credit card to max out your travel rewards, is something that really got me to travel more. And that really opened my eyes, broadened my horizons. It's a big reason why I started my other channel called Eternal Summer Rising. Should check that out. We've gone a bunch of places, and we've had a blast. So if you want to see all the different places we've been, how the fruits of learning stuff like this has paid off, go check that out. Eternal Summer Rising. So there's certain cards that are travel rewards cards, like the Chase Sapphire, for example, which I really love using for this, and American Express, and a number of other airline cards that will give you sign-up bonuses and give you a bunch of extra points for, say, very cheap flights, first-class flights, business flights, to exotic destinations through their portals. So that if you're interested in travel, that is definitely something you want to take advantage of. And say you didn't even like traveling in the first place, you're pretty much a homebody, you want to stay around your hood, that's fine too, because there's a credit card for you. It's the cashback cards, and I kind of showed that earlier with my Citi cashback card, which is the king of cashback cards in my opinion. It gives you cash back every time you make a purchase with that card. And that's awesome because, I mean, you're getting cash back. I regularly put pretty much almost all my expenses these days on the Citi card and rack it up, pay it off at the end of the month, and I'll get like $100, $200 back. It's pretty awesome. Finally, my favorite advantage, my favorite perk, my favorite opportunity that you can get with having a good credit score is starting a business. It's something you can use to get the ball rolling on some financial freedom, financial independence. And we'll talk about this a lot on this channel for sure, because when you're playing the modern adulting game, you can see that the system is kind of set up to always be making you work and trapping you into these long hours and trading your time, your life energy for money. So figuring out how to create a business, how to create something that you own that is working for you no matter what, that is always providing value, is so important to winning this game. And a lot of players don't realize that. A lot of players don't learn that. And it is a secret. It is a big, major key of becoming an advanced player, becoming a top player in the game of life. So the way that you do that with your credit, with your good credit score, is that you would be able to use personal guarantees to start to kick off your you getting business lines of credit. And business lines of credit are great because once you get that ball rolling, once you build up business credit, and I think we'll start talking about that soon, you're gonna be not just capped off at like $20,000, $30,000. we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit lines that you can use to put into a business, to start that, I don't know, hair salon, to start that engineering firm, that app that you've been wanting to start out, and really give it a good chance of working. And the best way to make money is with other people's money, as I always say. So that's a great major key that we'll definitely talk about as an advanced strategy. It definitely is not an easy path, but it's a rewarding one. And yeah, so that's my favorite perk of why you would want to create, why you would want to build a high credit score. And that'll do it for this video. Let me know what you want me to cover. I'll see you next time. I'm out.